ready.
Just hang on for just a second. I just want to show you something. Let go.
Okay.
So this is how I fly instruments. Notice my workload is like nothing.
Right.
I'm just letting the airplane fly itself. Let's say we want to turn to 150. A mighty one finger. Nice slow roll rate. We'll establish a standard rate turn. And we're in a 15-degree bank, so about 7 degrees before we get to our heading, we start rolling out. We'll set the bug.
Zulu, contact ground. Have a good night. Zulu, contact ground. Thank you.
Going up a tiny bit. That much down trim. To let the airplane's natural stability do the work. Pretty cool, huh?
Where did the draft go? There was plane was shaking when I had the hood on. Where did all that go now?
I don't know. Now the airplane wants to turn left. Is your left foot on the rudder pedal?
No.
Look at that, it wants to go left.
Yeah, because I'm not holding the right rudder.
Yeah, but we're not in the climb. It shouldn't go left. Airplane's a little out of rig. I should have the mechanics look at that. Okay, so your airplane again.
Airplane?
All right, so I'm going to get that all screwed up. So figure out, so you see how it's flagged there?
Yeah.
That means you're way off.
Okay.
Typically like 90 degrees.
Right.
So let's identify that. Let's push the nav1 button and listen to the ID and pull the knob out. Pull it out. And can you look at your chart and find that Woodside ID?
Yeah. .1139.
Yeah, well that's what we got.
Right.
But did you listen to the Morse? Did you match it to what that says here?
Right here. I don't know.
Okay, watch it, look at it, and listen to it. I'll hold the airplane.
Okay.
Look at it. Look at that Morse right there. That match?
I don't know how this should sound.
Well, it's a long, 3 shorts, 2 shorts.
Okay, so read from left.
Top to bottom.
Okay.
Each one is a character.
Okay, so...
And that is, the O is da-da-da, the S is dit-dit-dit, the I is dit-dit.
Okay, got it. One more time. So, it sounds right.
It is right.
Right.
But you always want to verify. We can turn that off.
Okay.
And now let's turn this till it centers on from. And I'm going to turn this a little bit here to get away from the airspace.
Following that Cessna, wind 320 at 10, runway 31, clear to land.
Just do this. You don't have to worry about the moving map. Turn this till it centers on from.
Elizabeth, landing with Victor. Code 449er still on tower. Cessna 7 Zulu Papa, traffic 1 moving at 12 o'clock, altitude indicates...
Each dot is 2 degrees, so it's about 8-9 degrees off. A little bit more. There you are. And what does that say?
Elizabeth, say again. 80.
About 80. So look over here. That's a 6, that's a 9. We're on a line right like that. Oh, gee, that's where our airplane is. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
All right, so let's turn it around till it shows, no, not the airplane. Turn this around by 180 degrees till it centers on 2.
12 moving 11 o'clock, appears to be maneuvering around Leslie Salt, out indicates 1,100.
It's got to go 180 degrees around, so about 260. And it's going to take a second to pop off, right? It kind of pegs and sticks there a little. So we're looking at like about 265 degrees, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a mountain right here, so let's make a left turn around to 265. And you can do a normal, 30-degree bank turn. Let's hold 3,500 feet.
260?
Well, the heading, we wanted to go to 265, right? We're going the long way around because we didn't want to turn toward the mountain. What are you doing? 265. Right? That's what this heading is. It's almost west, right? Okay, and don't forget to set your bug. Now what's important is the heading we're really flying, not just what the heading indicator says. So we want to check, and that's just about 270, isn't it? So we're pretty close. And the needle's showing a little fly left. Now we could center it and fly direct the VOR here, or just hold the heading for a second. Remember how we knew the wind is from the north? So that's going to be blowing us that way, toward the south, and the needle will come in. So we are pretty much going right at the VOR, and the needle is getting closer to center. It's converging. So let's just stay on this heading, and we're going to go right over the top of the VOR. Now we're slowing down a little bit.
Well, I'm just trying to get to 3,500.
That would mean pitch down, not up, right?
No, I'm just reducing power.
Add power. Right now, all we're trying to do is fly around. We don't want to fly slow. So you could bring the power up to 2400 RPM and keep us at 3500, we'll fly faster. So notice this is starting to say fly right, because the wind is blowing us left. Remember we knew we needed to crab right? So let's try, and it's almost 90 degrees, so let's try flying about 10 degrees to the right of that course, maybe about 280 here. See how the needle is going further away. We're getting pretty close to the VOR, so it starts getting really sensitive. Now, we don't want to make too big a change. So why don't you set the heading bug 290 to remind you where we're flying. And that needle should start coming in. If you look up, it looks like we're heading toward terrain that's higher than us, but we are higher than it. Watch that. We'll see what happens with the needle. See if it moves out or moves in. It's going to move in. How far are we? 3 miles, 2 minutes? Maybe not. See, it might be actually getting a little wider. So you could turn another 5 degrees right. And set the bug to remind you where you want to be. But don't keep turning right. We just want to be flying a course to the right of that. And that's almost a 30-degree crab. And now the needle looks like it may be slowly moving in. It is. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's only about 4 or 5 degrees off.
Right. We're clear of these.
We are. We're higher than it.
Okay. How high are these?
About 3,000. Maybe a little lower. The needle's almost centered now.
Right.
So we might want to come just a little left so we don't end up going right of the course. Now it's moving pretty quickly because we're getting very close to the VOR. We're only we're less than a mile from it. Now you don't have to continuously change the course. We're really close. Half a mile. I'll hold this heading. Come a little right, just a little bit, and we're gonna bounce. You see how it just flagged?
Yeah.
Look down to your left. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
So,
Oh, there's a house. No, I don't see it.
okay, so we'll come back again. but notice now it says from.
Right.
We just passed it.
Right.
So let's continue to fly this course. Turn to center that. Remember, the wind is pushing us left, so we're rapidly getting off course. So let's come back a little to the right and center that up. It gets very sensitive as we pass it, because even 10 feet left of the course can be 90 degrees, right? So it gets really sensitive, and as we fly along, it gets less sensitive. You see it's centered again, and now it'll probably start going left again, because we're flying up here 30 degrees. We're flying 300, we're 30 degrees off. See how it's now saying fly left?
Right.
So let's try 280, because that's still to the right of this course, but we know the wind is blowing us left. So we'll turn right over to 280, set the bug. And let's see what happens now. And I think that's going to converge. We look at the GPS, it now says we're tracking 264, so that should come in pretty quickly. The GPS is nice, it tells you what you're actually doing. And the needle's coming in. Because one, we're converging on the course. Two, as we get further out, the angular error is smaller.
So if it's on left, I turn left. If
It's not that you turn left, you fly a heading, or you try to fly a ground track that's to the left of that to get it to converge. Now, a nice demonstration here is how it doesn't mean turn left. So we're going to go out another minute or so, and we're going to make a full 360 and watch what happens to that indicator.
Now you're like completely converged.
Sorry, what?
Now we are flying the course.
Pretty close, and the ground track's 261, right. So we're actually a bit to the left. It's starting to show fly right, but it reads slowly because a mile at like 10 miles is much less error than a mile at 1 mile. 1 mile is 45-degree error. So it's angular, it's not absolute. All right, so since it's saying fly right, let's go into a right turn. And 20 to 30 degrees, a plenty good right turn. And we'll make a full 360. In fact, let's do that. Let's go like 20 to 30 degrees. We'll make a full 360 and watch what happens to the needle. Now it's starting to move in because we're flying in that direction. We're flying toward the needle, but we're going to continue to go right. Now it's almost centered. It has centered, but we're continuing to turn right. Goes up a bit. You're just okay. That's helpful, right? So it's saying fly a little left, but as we finish this turn, it's probably going to say fly right again. There it goes, fly right again. Because we're flying off in this direction. We made a full 360 and the needle just wiggled a little. So it doesn't mean turn right, it means fly a course to the right of that. All right, so we've done a track inbound, a track outbound. Let's join a different course outbound. Let's put in, this shouldn't be too bad. Let's put in here a course at 250. 50? Yep, that's it. A little further, right on the tick mark. That's 260. 250. Okay, good. Now we want to fly an intercept to that. So let's try like a 30-degree intercept. So let's fly 220 as a heading. So we'll turn left at 220. And hopefully we can do this before we get too far out over the ocean. So we're seeing a full deflection of the CDI, which means we are more than 10 degrees off. More than 12. But we'll converge pretty quickly. There's 230. That's a 30-degree intercept. Slows down a little. You're gaining altitude and slowing down. I'm going to put a little heat on because I'm getting a little cold. Okay, no, so let's hold 3,500 feet. Notice it's come off the peg.
Yeah. So,
But just keep holding this heading until it gets close to centered. And you can see how quickly it's coming in. Now you're starting to turn right, you're losing your heading bug. But it is coming in. See it?
yeah.
And now the question is, what heading do we fly to keep it centered? Something to the right of where we are now.
Right.
Sorry, what?
It's almost center.
Yeah, well now it's actually through center, now it's saying fly right. And if we flew 250 let's turn to 250, and we're going to turn around in a minute. No, don't turn it. Fly 250. And notice it's showing fly right, because the wind is blowing us that way. So even on a heading of 250, the GPS is telling us we're tracking 230, 234. We're still going that way. We'd have to turn further right. Now let's make a left turn back toward the shoreline. I don't want to be beyond gliding distance of land. And we can turn, yeah, that's good, 30 degrees of bank. But notice what's happening. The more you bank, the more the nose goes down, we're starting to lose altitude. All right, so we're heading toward the coast. Now, this is again from, and now we're trying to go to it.
Right.
So turn this guy back around till he centers on 2 again. Well, it's not centered, right? Center the needle. Slowly, remember, it only takes 25 degrees to go centered from one direction to center to the other. All right, so about there is centered, right? And that would be, we were at 250 before. We could put it here on the bottom, 180 and 70. So that's saying fly left. Well, let's join that course. Let's intercept that 070 back to the VOR.
070?
Oh, well, that's what that course is, 070. So what heading do we want to fly to intercept the course?
So 070 is going to be on right, right?
This course is 070, and it's say you have to go left. So what do we need to do to make it center?
I'll go left.
Oh, hold on. You're already way over here at 030. That's a... You're not going to see him. Oh, it's interesting. It's at 12 o'clock, right? So we're already flying way over here.
Right.
We don't want to turn left. We'd be making circles.
Okay.
The needle's coming in rapidly. We're about to fly through the course. Do you understand what's happening here?
Yeah. So it takes time to respond.
Yeah, because the angular error has to change. We have to move. They're going through the course.
Right.
So fly a heading to make it join.
I see.
What heading should you fly now?
70?
You can try that. So turn right to 070. And get right along there. Make it a quick turn so we don't get too far off course. Start rolling out or you're going to go through your heading. Now, we're heading 070. What does the mag compass say? Mag compass says we're actually heading 045.
Yeah.
So this is precessing. Yep. So we're going too far to the left. So turn right. And 070 will probably work here. Roll out, because you're going to go through the course. Now it's just about pegged, but we're pretty close to the VOR. And let's watch what happens. I think it's coming off the peg.
And the hill is in between, right? So it may also affect us?
Well, it's up on the top of the hill.
I see.
So it still hasn't moved much. And sometimes you're wondering, gee, what's happening? So you could push this here, and now we get a 2, and it says it's 83 degrees 2. And we are tracking 80 degrees. It's never going to converge. So we're actually going to the left of where the VOR is. So let's turn right a bit. Maybe 10, 15 degrees. Okay, and let's hold this course, hold this heading, and let's see what kind of track we get. Well, we're tracking 87, and that's 70, so we should be joining this pretty quickly. And let's just watch what happens.
Why did it say sync rate?
I didn't hear it.
You didn't?
No, mine didn't say it.
I have a sync rate.
Yeah, well, it's probably because there's an error in the GPS position. Now, if we didn't have the digital display here of 83, we might say, where are we? Center it and then put it back. But I think we're going to get pretty close to the VOR here. And I'm looking for it out the window now so you can see what the thing looks like.
I saw one on San Jose Airport. You showed me one.
Yeah, but you're seeing it, that was an unusual one, and we saw it from the ground. It's right ahead of us on the top of this hill.
Right.
You see a little white mark?
I see that.
Turn just a little right so that we can take it down the left side of the airplane and you can see it. And that's plenty, because so now if we're flying this heading, you can see the wind is pushing us to the right. Can you see it? We're not going this way, we're going that way.
I can't tell.
Our heading is 070, our track is 89. We're actually going 20 degrees right of where we're heading.
I see the VOR. That's the VOR?
Yeah, that's it. And we'll make a circle around it just so you get to see what it looks like. And you see, it's not much to see.
Yeah.
Notice the needle's coming in, and it's going to go left because we're going to pass on the right side of the VOR. So I have the traffic. You can just look at the VOR. And watch over here quickly. You just look at it, look here. See, it's saying 2,
Right.
and it's pegging because the angular error is getting really big, and it's about to flip. Watch over here, it's going to flip as we pass it momentarily. Here it comes, 3, 2, 1, and here it's flipping. The further away you are, the slower the flip.
Look very different from what we had over there.
In terms of, what do you mean what we had over there?
So that one had like a,
Oh, it's a completely different design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And now we're from.
Yeah.
So see if you can get this to join. So it's saying, hey, you got to go left. So what heading could we fly to make that center? No. Not turn it.
Okay.
Center the needle.
center the needle. We can, well, say north, for example.
Yeah, we could. And turn wherever you want. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to be on north and see what happens.
Yep. Now you see that popped off the peg? And look how rapidly it's going, because we're flying that way. And we're only a couple of miles to the VOR. We went right through the course. So turn back to the right, see if you can get that guy to center. And stay centered. And we can't go very far in this direction.
This direction?
We're going towards San Carlos, right? Actually, we're going toward the Dumbarton Bridge. So we can only go this direction about 4 miles, and we're into the class Bravo. So we're still flying up here, which is away from the needle.
Okay. A little bit more.
Well, a lot more. And that's a course of 070, right? So we need to go to the right of 070. So maybe 080, but not too far, or we're going to be making circles. Again, we know the wind is from the north, so we're flying 080, but we're probably tracking 100 degrees. This should converge pretty rapidly. And it just came off the peg. And you see how it's coming in.
Right.
Now that we're on this heading, we can fly this way for a while. Set the heading bug to remind you of what heading you want to be flying. And you see the needles coming in. So we know that 080 is too far to the right to continue to track this. We're converging, but now we got to turn left. We got to turn left by quite a bit, or we're going to go through that course. We can go about 2 more miles, 1.5 miles in this direction. The wind's out of the north, so we're going to continue to be tracking to the right of that. Now it's coming in slowly, because it's not a big error, but it's still moving, the needle's moving left, isn't it? Notice what else is happening. We lost 400 feet of altitude.
Yes. So, should I get back?
That's all right. We got to turn it here in a moment anyway. Let's make a left turn. Let's turn to left turn about 240. Start turning now. And yeah, we should probably climb back up, but you don't have to do it during the turn. Uh-oh, he's right ahead of us. I got him. That's fine. All right, let's climb up to 3,500. Nose up right now. Nose up. Guy's pretty close. Now full power. We'll climb to 3.5. We'll be above him in seconds. We're already above him. All right, so let's center this up one more time. I'll keep the airplane in a climb for the moment. So center him, and let's go direct the VOR. Center the needle. Now, remember, it's only 2 degrees per dot. So you've turned it already full scale, way more than we needed to.
So make it from or to?
Well, what are we trying to do?
To.
We're trying to go to it.
Right.
So center the needle on 2. Okay, keep doing that. I have the traffic. Remember, it's only 25 degrees from peg left to peg right. Okay, so that's about right. That's close. Now, how are we going to track that?
Fly 250.
That's a good start, but what do we, and we notice we're flying 240. We can read the mag compass. That really says about 260, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what do we know about the wind?
Coming from this side.
Right, so 260 should be pretty close. But we watch it. See, it's showing us a little bit fly right. So 260 isn't working. Let's try 270. trim. I don't want to go down while I'm having trouble seeing the hill. Now it's almost pegged. If you want to get it off the peg, we could turn a little further right. Just a little bit, no more than 10 degrees. We're very close. Now let's see what happens. We may not get it to center because we're very, very close to the VOR. Notice it's coming in. Now watch what happens. And now see, it's going to go. We're going to center and go right through it. If you look off to your left, you probably see it. We're passing it in 10 seconds. You see it? We're almost over it.
Over there?
We're right over it. It's right underneath us. You see it? We've passed it already by a half a mile.
I didn't see it. But yeah, I saw that other time.
We'll do one more time direct. Actually, let's do something else different. Let's now go to using the GPS. And why don't we go direct to Half Moon Bay? So we can hit nearest, and it says airport, right? So that's good. Enter. And now it's showing the nearest airport. So you can pull that knob out, and it says scan. Pull the knob out. The small knob. Okay, and now there's Half Moon Bay, right?
Right.
So now hit direct, enter. Direct to Half Moon Bay, enter. Okay, and now it shows Half Moon Bay is 295 degrees, and push this button. And now that says GPS. Now it's gonna tell us, dial this up to 295. And now that's a course, that's 290, 295. So we have this and we have that course deviation. You see it's showing us going left. We need to come right. So turn right a little bit.
It is just showing us come right?
That tick mark vertically there.
Okay.
That's the same as this thing.
Okay.
So we have to turn a little right to go directly to Half Moon Bay. Now what's different between VOR and GPS needle position is this is based on distance. So if it's converging, you're getting closer to the course, whereas VOR is based on angle. So we're about, what are we mode in here? I think we're in en route mode. We're about a mile off of that direct course. And we're tracking 289. So that means we are tracking left of the course. You see it said that the desired track is 295. So that point would keep going right. Now what's happening? We're tracking 293, we're tracking 301. So now that's to the right of this, and the D-bar will come in left.
Okay. 95, let me try to fix it.
Well, wait, try to fix what?
Well, I'm trying to track 295.
Yeah, but only when the needle centers. It's still off a bit, right? So we can fly until that centers here or here, and then we can turn left to get the track to be 295. We're only converging at 4 degrees. It's a really small convergence, which means it's going to take a long time for that to center. And on a cross-country flight, that'd be fine. You don't need it to conversion really rapidly.
I see the airport.
Right. And you can see we're going right toward it.
Land?
Well, I was thinking, we're an hour 16 into the flight. I was thinking about heading back, but if you want to land, we could.
What were you thinking though?
Just to go home soon.
Okay. Well, since you're here, maybe we can land.
All right, well, let's do that. So let's throttle back and start descending, and we'll pick up the ATIS. Got to start coming down because we're very close. Want me to help you with getting the ATIS or the weather?
No, let me do that.
Okay.
Oh, we need ATIS, right?
AWAS in this case.
127. Put it here?
Sure.
Celsius. Altimeter 3039er inches of mercury. Remarks. Use caution for aerobatic activity west and southwest of the airport over the water between 1,500 and 6,000 feet. Noise abatement procedures and marine sanctuary over flight restrictions are in effect. Half Moon Bay Airport, automated weather observation 0126 Zulu weather, wind 310 at 6 knots, visibility 5, haze, sky condition clear below 12,000 feet.
Put it in here.
1 Celsius, 2.7 Celsius, altimeter
122.8
inches of mercury.
3039.
Use caution for aerobatic activity west and southwest of the airport.
122.80.
500 and 6,000 feet. Noise abatement procedures and marine sanctuary over flight restrictions are in effect.
122.80.
Half Moon Bay Airport, automated weather observation 0.
Flip over to COM 1, the active frequency, and then COM 1. And I'm going to make a call right now because we're very close. Half Moon Bay traffic, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa is about a mile east of the field. We'll be entering right traffic for 31 Half Moon Bay. Got the pattern altitude? 1,000 feet. Let's come out here a little further to the right.
Right traffic?
It's right traffic. And let's bring the, yeah, this will work. Let's go a little further this way.
We're landing this direction, right?
Yes, we are. Okay, so now make a tight left turn. And we're going to level off at 1,000 feet. Tight left turns. We're going to go steep turn. We're slowing down a little. That's fine. Half Moon Bay traffic, Cessna 4 Sierra Papa, entering right 45, 31 Half Moon Bay. Actually, we're entering midfield, Half Moon Bay. Okay, so the runway is just to our right. Keep turning left. And roll out. And there's the runway just to our right. Throttle back a little, get out a little flat. Half Moon Bay traffic, the 4 Sierra Papa, right downwind 31 Half Moon Bay. Now we can throttle back to approach power setting, and we'll slow down a bit.
669 turning crosswind 30, right traffic, Half Moon Bay.
At the runway?
Half Moon Bay traffic, Piper 39er Whiskey, departing runway 30 to the north, Half Moon Bay.
We should turn base. Less power because we're high and we're okay on speed. So 1400 RPM is our normal approach power setting. We might need to add a little bit because we extended a bit here. Got to turn to 90 degrees to the runway. Keep turning right. And we're doing 90 knots. We're going down very rapidly. So bring the nose up. See the runway? Half Moon Bay traffic, the 4 Sierra Papa, right base, 31, Half Moon Bay. Landing check. Gas, mixture, belts, flaps. A lot of fishing boats here. Wow. Half Moon Bay traffic, Cessna 4 Sierra Papa. Final. 30 Half Moon Bay.
Half Moon Bay traffic, 698 Juliet Alpha, turning base 30, Half Moon Bay.
I recommend a touch and go. It's a long taxi back.
Half Moon Bay traffic, 698 Juliet Alpha, turning final right 30, Half Moon Bay.
What's the runway length here?
5,000.
Ferry transitioning the shoreline from the
Pretty long.
2000 to the south. Half Moon Bay traffic. Half Moon Bay traffic, Blue Satarbia 224 Romeo Alpha is maneuvering at 3,500, about 8 miles south of
They're still in front of.
Half Moon Bay.
Sorry, what?
We'll take a right crosswind.
Yeah, we can make a right crosswind. Bay traffic before Sierra Papa. Upwind, now turning right crosswind 30 Half Moon Bay. Roll out, take a quick look, and then roll back in again. Nose up, let a little more steep bank angle, and nose up a little. I like to be higher here. Okay, so if you see these, let's see, what can I point out? A little hard to see from here. When I see it, I'll let you know. We're still trying to climb. See the taxiways end in little circles, like this one that we're passing right here?
Right.
And there's hangars in different places on those circles.
Yeah.
Those were where they parked bombers in World War II. Those are concrete hard stands. Down here at the end, you see a couple more. So if there was an attack, hold on a sec. Half Moon Bay traffic is for Sierra Papa, departing right downwind 30 Half Moon Bay. So if there was an attack, one bomb would take out at most one airplane. We can level off at 2,000, or you can go a little higher. We go 2,500 feet. Got full power?
Juliet Alpha is upwind 30, Half Moon Bay. Half Moon Bay traffic, Satarbia 224 Romeo Alpha, descending out of 3,000, about 5 miles. Southfield inbound for touch and go, Half Moon Bay.
All right, here's 2.5, and we can go through here Crystal Springs, and we can practice using the GPS to take us home.
Okay,
So first get aviate, navigate, communicate. Level the airplane off, get us trimmed out for cruise flight.
I am about a mile north. Fly over midfield, 1,500 for a downwind into 26. Anybody in the pattern at Half Moon Bay? 698 Juliet Alpha, pattern Half Moon Bay. We are downwind, midfield, 30.
84 would be direct,
Right.
but we don't want to go directly there. Listen to the engine. Let's look at the at the airspeed. So throttle back just a little bit.
Approaching the ridge line at 4,100 feet inbound for landing. Half on base traffic 69 Juliet Alpha. We're going to do short approach 3.
Half Bay traffic, Blue Citabria, it's swinging at 1,800.
So this guy is still on KGO, and you see he's pointed straight ahead.
Right.
If you look out, you can see the high span of the Dumbarton Bridge, and I can just barely make out the KGO towers. So we're pointing right at them.
So is it always, so you need to know where those towers are?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's the whole point. All the ground-based navigation, you have to know where that thing is. Otherwise, it doesn't tell you anything.
So how do I know, like if I'm not
You got a chart?
on the chart?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I scroll the chart, here's the Dumbarton Bridge, there's KGO. And it says VP KGO, NKGO. It's in the database too. All right, so let's turn right and we'll fly down the causeway and pick up 280 to our left.
Traffic 698 Juliet Alpha is upwind 30.
I'm going to flip us back to Palo Alto.
Remain clear of Moffitt's Class Delta airspace.
And you see the causeway and you see the 280 freeway.
Right.
So let's turn right to parallel the 280 freeway. And the reason we want to do that, oops. Here we are, and
Juliet traffic 12 to 1 o'clock, 6 miles northeast.
Yeah, I see the airspace.
yeah, so we got to turn right.
Looking for traffic for 3 Juliet.
There we go. I just touched the right chart. You see how close we're getting to San Carlos's airspace? So we got to turn right. Keep the freeway to our left.
Listen 43 Juliet, they'll climb above you now. Or I shouldn't say now, but they're at
See the freeway right ahead?
miles northeast on
Okay, so we can follow that.
climbing, fast mover. We have them on site now. Thank you, 43 Juliet.
We're losing a little altitude. And you can hear the RPM is increasing because the nose is down a bit. Yeah, and the airspeed increases. So this guy is still thinking 84 degrees. And the reason he's flashing is he wants you to set this to 84 also.
Is it?
So go ahead and do it. We'll do it just for the practice. Either way is fine. And now he'll stop flashing to say, okay, you just went right past it, 84. That's 190 something. 84 is just less than east. Now he'll stop flashing to say, okay, you did the right thing. And now it's starting to say fly left. That was the direct to Palo Alto.
857, expect that.
But we're not going to go direct Palo Alto quite yet because that would take us through San Carlos's airspace.
100 climbing.
So we're going to go towards slack and then turn inbound. And on ForeFlight, I could actually put that in. I think there's a visual pointed slack. Let's see if it likes that. Yeah, there is a visual pointed slack. So there's our route. And we can see that on the chart. We're going towards slack and then we'll go inbound. And the key thing was to be clear of San Carlos. And from the chart I can see that's the case. So since we're going to Palo Alto, hit direct enter again. And now our new course to Palo Alto is 64. So you could put 64 in there, and we could go directly to Palo Alto. But we don't have the ATIS yet, do we?
No, we don't.
So let's get the ATIS in.
On and in the vicinity of the airport. Use caution for uneven pavement in front of the terminal on Yankee. Read back with short instructions and runway assignment. Advise ground control departure request. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Victor.
Victor's the code.
Palo Alto Tower, information Victor. Time 0047 Zulu. Wind 320 at 10. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 17. Dew point 3. Altimeter 3037. GPS approach in use, landing and departing runway 31. Hazardous weather information available on flight service frequencies. Use caution for bird activity on and into the...
37. Almost close.
And we've already passed slack, but you could call in and tell them we're at slack.
Palo Alto Tower, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa, at slack, inbound for landing, information Victor.
W2 Mike Alpha, number 2, following Cessna mile and a half final, runway 31, cleared to land.
Now let's throttle back and start descending, even before we turn in.
Cessna 43 Juliet, number 3, following Tabria, entering...
Do we have like, for busy spaces like these, did we give them a cold call first?
We could give them a call further out, but we weren't ready.
Tower, enter midfield, left downwind, runway 31.
Midfield, runway 31, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa.
Left downwind for Sierra Papa. Okay, let's turn left. And one more time, hit direct enter.
Contact Angola Tower, Bayflight 7.
And it says 32 degrees, so turn left to 32.
So what did you say about cold call again?
About what?
About cold call. So, should we give the tower a cold call to get their attention first?
A phone call?
A cold call, cold call.
I don't know, I'm not understanding that
Or
word.
just say Cessna 494 Sierra Papa and they say, okay, go ahead.
No,
and then
no, you tell them where you are, you make the call.
Oh, okay.
So let's see what we see. There's Cooley Landing. There's the airport. So we got to come down a little faster. Let's throttle back. Let's throttle back to like 2,000 and bring the nose up. Let's get below 110 knots and then we'll put out 10 flaps. So nose up. There's 110, 10 flaps. Nose back down. And now we can descend with a little higher drag. And you see the creek? So you can turn a little right. You can see the golf course. And now we'll be able to get down in time. Cold as in C-O-L-D?
Yeah, C-O-L-D.
You just tell them where you are and that you have an ATIS to land. A better thing would have been to call them earlier, but you were doing other stuff and you weren't ready to call. So now that's flashing 32, so we can put that at 32. It'll stop flashing, and it's showing us we're 2.4 miles from Palo Alto. And the CDI is centered. Just keep going like this.
On Zulu, contact ground, 5 Romeo Sierra.
Cessna 494 Sierra Papa, you are number 2 now, following the Cessna 2-mile final, runway 31, cleared to land.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 31, and we're looking for traffic, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa.
So coming from this direction, they like us to be above 1,500 feet crossing the freeway, and we're going to be about that. It really is fine because we're throttled back, we're making very little noise. That's why they want us high. So we can start turning right to our downwind, and we just got to keep descending. I think we could probably throttle back to 1,400, and given where he said that guy was, we won't have to extend it for him at all. You're turning a little too early or a little wide, but that's all right. We're not too wide. Let's get the airplane slowed down. Power's still too high. And we're about to pass him. He's right there. Still fast. Bring the nose up. Slow us down to flap speed. Now we're back to a kind of a normal situation.
Tower, Skyline 1783, Mike, Leslie Salt is ending at a 2,500 inbound with Victor. Skyline 1783, Mike, Palo Alto.
Have we done everything we need to do?
Midfield right downwind 31.
Oh yeah. Notice that even though it's not quite sunset yet, because we have mountains to the west of us, the field is in shadow.
The eyes have not adjusted yet.
You're still wearing sunglasses. Take them
Oh,
off.
that's why.
Are they prescription?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can still see.
Yeah, that's good.
Juliet on Zulu, contact ground. On Zulu, contact ground, 3 Juliet.
Brakes, stick back all the way full up elevator. And you've got this.
Sierra Papa on Zulu, contact ground.
Zulu contact ground, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa.
Skyline 83, Mike, you're number 1, runway 31, clear to land. 31, clear to land, 83, Mike.
Let's move up a little in case somebody else has to get off the runway behind us.
Config
1250 on COM 1.
follow to ground, Cessna 494 Sierra Papa. At Zulu, requesting taxi to Cable Road.
Cessna 747 Zulu Papa, follow to ground at taxi Zulu Yankee 2, suggest Juliet.
4 Sierra Papa, Zulu Yankee 2, Juliet.
Correction, 4 Sierra Papa for Cable Road, taxi Zulu Yankee 2, suggest Yankee.
Zulu Yankee 2, 4 Sierra Papa. Terminal side.
Sorry, what?
Didn't give me terminal side Yankee this time.
I think he did, actually. Said for cable rows, Yankee 2 terminal side, but I'm not sure. But Yankee makes sense because it goes right past the terminal.
Right, should I, or
Sorry, what?
should I confirm with him or?
No, we don't need to. We're not in a movement area. Look at that. That's a total waste. You see what's happening there? It's got a pulse light, and it's switching between 2 lights in the cowl.
Ah.
So when the airplane's close to you, you can't even see that. That's ridiculous. Better if it would pulse on and off. That jet up there is still in the sunlight.
Yankee 3, Yankee.
Zulu Yankee 3 Yankee, answer Mike.
Looking at some of these light sport airplanes, they look barely bigger than some of the model airplanes I've built. I just wonder how long it's going to be before somebody taxis into that pole.
Ask Joe to fix the RPM.
Oh, well, you got to kind of kick him a bit. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, getting low RPM on this thing is hard.
Yeah, and now you appreciate what a pain in the ass it is. So that's when you can go to the mechanic and say, hey, this is really annoying. It's going to cause a problem. Fix this before somebody hits something. Whack, whack.
I'm like, okay, if I go to, you know, if my check ride instructor or, you know, examiner is like LIBOR, he's going to fill the taxi.
Well, you're going to have to explain to him, look, the idle's set a little high, got to go to full rich mixture to slow down or use the brakes, and I know you're not supposed to, but I got to do that on this airplane. Better to get it fixed before the check ride, and the sooner you get it fixed, the more you can get used to the way it's supposed to work.
Right.
That should be good.